Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2021 on Going Optimal. We're going to kick it off the way we started Going Optimal with the Guilds of Ravnica draft. Guilds of Ravnica was the set of record at the time I started streaming back in November of 2018. And so this has a soft spot in my heart as the place I cut my teeth on streaming. Of course, at the time, that means it was bot-only draft. And I think Guilds of Ravnica has issues as a draft format, even in the context of all human drafts, because by focusing on 5 of the 10 guilds, you really make the set about 5 color pairs. And the trouble with Guilds of Ravnica is that the 2 green color pairs of green black and green white, they're not super strong in the set. It's not that they don't have some powerful cards, but they're the gold cards in Golgari and Selesnya are much weaker than the gold cards in the other guilds at same rarity levels, and it just doesn't match up well in gameplay. Like Selesnya and the green stuff is all like about 4/4s, for example, and this is a set that has a couple of 5 toughness commons that can just blank an entire green strategy. And again, it's not that you can't win with green decks. In fact, I know there's some people who really lean into that and feel like if I just really force Selesnya hard or just lean hard into the Selesnya, since nobody else wants it, I can get an amazing deck that wins. So I'm not saying it's impossible to draft green decks with success. I am saying, though, that it is conventional wisdom that the green guilds in this set are not that good, and it is conventional wisdom that you generally want to be in Izzet, blue-red, you want to be in Dimir, blue-black, or you want to be in Boros, red-white. And those strategies are clean, clear, and powerful, and if you can get into them, great. But in an all-human situation, somebody's got to take the green cards. More than one person's got to take the green cards. Somebody's got to be green. Is it going to be us? I almost want to say no, it's not going to be us, because before I got on air here for YouTube, I was telling chat that I feel like Guilds of Ravnica is a bad draft format that has some really excellent gameplay. It's kind of sad for me that the Dimir deck in Guilds of Ravnica is one of my all-time favorite limited archetypes. I love it. But it's in a draft format that's really not that good. But I love how it plays. I love Surveil. I love the controlling gameplay nature of GRN. And so I have this love-hate relationship with this format, but it has a sweet spot in my history as well. So we are going to go for some GRN here and have some fun. But I want to call out a couple of things. If you are someone who is a free-to-play player who likes to draft but tends to build collections toward constructed in standard, note that these cards are not standard legal. So there is no progress towards standard relevant collection building in GRN draft. I generally recommend that if you care about collection building, that you only spend your gem and gold resources on events that produce packs as a reward in a collection building area that you want to hit. Right? So if you don't care about the cards in Guilds of Ravnica and you're a collection builder on a free-to-play budget, consider just passing on these old retro formats like this. But if you're just in it for drafting, or you care about historic collection building, or you're gem independent and gems aren't an issue, then of course, whatever. And in fact, on this account, we've been 4x rares on Zendikar for so long, I haven't really been playing draft on this account. I've just been building up gold. So we have 30 plus K gold along with our 30 plus K gems. And so we get to enter the next few drafts for free anyway. So this one's going to be on the house. And we're going to re-explore Guilds of Ravnica draft. If you want to re-explore Guilds of Ravnica constructed, maybe check out my sponsor, CardKingdom.com. They're going to have tons of Guilds of Ravnica stuff. Maybe you see some card today in the draft that you're like, oh, that should go in my commander deck. I forgot about that card. Well, you can get a foil one from my sponsor, Card Kingdom. And if you head over there via my affiliate link that Hat has pasted in the chat, you can find the panels down below and, of course, in the YouTube notes. You're going to get there from here. Card Kingdom's going to know that, and then all of the business you conduct with them for the couple weeks after you visit with my affiliate link are attributed to my stream. That makes Card Kingdom happy with me, helps keep me on the air. So if you enjoy this content, please remember me when you are considering a physical Magic purchase. And remember, you can just hop right over to my stream. Just go, oh yeah, I'm going to go over to Ryan's stream. I'm going to click that panel to Card Kingdom, and I'm going to check out Card Kingdom from his panel and see if they can't help me get what I need. If you do, you're going to have a great purchase that you're really going to be happy with. They deliver. So my other sponsor, of course, Oni Spumoni over at Spumoni Works. It's past Christmas, we're into the new year, but you can still get 15% off with the Go Shopping discount code. And if you buy any of Oni's merch, Oni is the designer of my channel UI. The look and feel of my whole channel is by Oni, and I want to get some more work out of him. So you can help me out with a purchase over at Spumoni Works that goes towards some graphic design on Going Optimal using that Go Shopping code. Thanks, everybody. And thanks, Wizards, for the gold. Let's draft some GRN for free. So, another thing to mention about this format, this is back from a day where they did not have the collation done correctly, which is to say, packs are not truly random. Wizards does things to ensure some level of color balance in the packs at common and uncommon. But unfortunately, that effort has now created a situation where we have an accurate list of what the uncommon print run is, which is to say, if we get a pack passed to us and there's an uncommon missing, we can look up the uncommons that are still in the pack and establish what color or what specific card was taken out of the packs. In this case, this is a pretty easy Deadly Visit for me. Hellkite Whelp is okay. District Guide in any other format would be a fine place to start, but again, I just don't want to be green here. And Necrotic Wound is much worse than it looks. It's not that good. Foundry, we'd be rare drafting for gems there. You can take gems. Devious Cover Up, better than it looks in the format. I'm going to take Deadly Visit and hope we wheel a Devious Cover Up. I think the second best card in this pack, though, is actually Wojek Bodyguard. So if you said I could not take the Deadly Visit, I would be grabbing the Bodyguard here. But yeah, at least District Guide says you're starting with the intent to splash, basically, in green. I'm looking to be in one of the three powerful color pairs, so Dimir, Boros, or sorry, I said, is it Dimir or Boros? We could take Response Resurgence. This is rare. It's not actually that great. 5 damage to attacking and blocking is really like a common level card. It does work in Is It or Boros. It does not work with Deadly Visit, but Unexplained Disappearance, which is not good enough to take here. This is a Luminous Bonds format. We could also take the Drake. It's true. This is we're in a spot where we're thinking in terms of 3 decks. I'm only really thinking in terms of 3 different decks. So I am going to take the Drake because I think it's better than the rare, and it's simply a card in one of the 3 pairs we want to be in. So, Gadandmore says Drake is unlikely to be played. And we're like 33% to play the Drake because, dang it, we're going to be Is It, we're going to be Dimir, or we're going to be Boros. We take We Dragonauts and commit more towards Is It. We can take Notion Rain and head back towards Deadly Visit. Those are my 2. Healer's Hawk, if we had headed more towards Boros, Healer's Hawk is great for the Boros deck. Those are my picks, though. Dragonauts. Oh, also we can do the... we don't have a way to check yet. I think I take Dragonauts on the Crackling Drake follow-up. Notion Rain is really nice, though. I like it a lot. Now we have Sonic Assault. We also have our first missing uncommon. So this is... Oh, Chamber Sentry is good enough to... I mean, this is a 2/2 for 2, if nothing else, but... We'll consider that. But now we're going to go look and find Undercity. So Demotion or Chemister's Insight was taken. Ugh, that's tough. That means Chemister's Insight was taken upstream. We could take Sonic Assault or Command the Storm. Command the Storm is a fine card here as well. So is Cover Up. Sonic Assault, if we're in the right lane, would wheel for us. Like, this is not, even though it's gold and in our colors, doesn't necessarily mean it's a high pick. I kind of just want the removal or the rare. Yeah, this is fine. You don't need to be playing 5 colors for this to be fine. I mean, you can play this as a bear, and then for 2 mana, it shocks something, right? That's fine. That's actively good. We're just going to take it. We can take Dimir Guildgate here and potentially still backdoor into Dimir if that ends up what's being open. I like what Jinx is saying, though. Informant plays in both Deadly Visit deck and We Dragonaut's Crackling Drake deck. So let's take the thing that plays in both the decks we have. Gate would be fine fixing, but let's figure out what colors we're in. Oh, there's another Visit, though. If I'm going to take a... Yeah, this goes in both decks, but I think Deadly Visit is strong enough to take... I just missed this, gang. Sorry. I should have been talking about this from the get-go, but I just glossed over it. That's the real pick. Do we head again towards Dimir or stick towards something that would be in any... and well, no, I'm taking the Visit. We're either playing the Visits or the red-blue cards. We're not playing both. But we're just trying to figure out what lane we're in. Don't worry about trying to play all this stuff together. That's not the point. We're trying to figure out what lane we're in. Smelt Ward says be in the Izzet lane. There's not really... I mean, Wish Coin says you can be Dimir. Wish Coin could be in both decks. That's a reason to consider the Wish Coin. But Minotaur is enough better. And also, let's check Uncommon Print Run again, see what's missing here. World Soul. So League Guildmage or Sunhome Stalwart. Hard to say. Probably Stalwart, but maybe League Guildmage, which would push us out of Izzet a bit. No, I never played Barrier. I think Barrier's bad. Crab is good and playable in Dimir. I think Barrier is bad and not good in Dimir. This is great in Dimir. Artful Takedown is really signally here. And with no Izzet pull besides Wish Coin, we're going to take Artful Takedown and continue to see. Takedown is even splashable if we were end up in Izzet with some Dimir Gates, for example. Dowser, one of the reasons that that green isn't very good, playable 4/5s. This is a really interesting pick, though, because this is a really great red 2-drop, and we're very low on 2s. We can either take the Poisoner to continue towards Dimir or the Goblin Guide heading towards Izzet. This is a really tough pick. I'm going to take the Ornery Goblin. I said Goblin Guide. I meant Ornery Goblin. I think this is the abstract best card. So I'm going to take it, but this is a tough one. This is also interesting. This is our opening pick, and a couple of cards came back for us to consider, both the Cover Up and the Whelp. I think the Whelp is maybe a little better, but Cover Up goes in everything and is quite good in blue-black, which we could still be in here, crazy as it is. We're either Dimir or Izzet. We're not sure which. So let's take Cover Up. It's a fine spell, and we really need the blue flexibility if we're still trying to figure out what pair we're in. Some reasonable white. Skyline Scout is okay. Vigor Spore Worm shows you how green is regarded in the set, because this is not a bad card in the abstract. It's just that green is not where you want to be generally in the set. Yeah, let's take the Dart. Desperation playable and Vault if nothing else. And Fenor or Guildgate. Dart or Guildgate are the picks here, but I'll go with the Dart. Best of one, but we will take a Vapors here. Definitely like to have one of these. If you have Vapors, you have really good game against Boros. And here's that Assault. Like I said, if we're in the right place, Assault is the type of thing that wheels. So we're still wide open here, gang. I don't know if that's a late Sonic Assault or just kind of like an appropriate one, but it certainly is like, it does suggest that Izzet might be wide open and we should probably just push towards Izzet. Jinx, then you should just be drafting constantly. Jinx says, wow, Golgari is open. I wish I was in this pod. Jinx, this is every pod. Just go ahead and draft GRN to your heart's content, and Golgari will be constantly open for you. Constantly. Well, this might suggest a path. See, so you get what I'm saying. Like, this is not unusual. Like, if you like drafting Golgari in this format, congrats, you are in luck. Yeah, we might even, if we're correct that we're the only Izzet drafter that Drake could wheel, although it tends to be the kind of thing that people take out of spite, just because it's like, yeah, Drake could be the better choice, but Explosion is real. I know it's expensive, but even doing it for 2, shocking for 2 and drawing 2 is pretty darn good. You want to take Drake, though? I wish I could stop and do a poll here, because I'd be curious where people are at on these two. It's also gem building, though. I'm going to take it for science. Science and gems. Assassin's Trophy is payoff for Golgari. It's a good card, but we're going to take Watcher in the Mist. We got the Dimir teasing us, but I think we're in the right place on Izzet. That opening pack plus particularly the late Sonic Assault and the late Ornery Goblin make me think that we're in the right place to be straight Izzet and to have a pretty good run of it here. I like a Dazzling Lights in this type of deck, but Watcher is a key card in this format. If you've played it a bunch, you just know how powerful Watcher ends up being. Yeah, our curve is a little high, but I am taking second Watcher, and we'll keep the needs at 2 in mind as we move forward. Now we'll wheel the Urchin or Ornery. Like, we got Passwall, Ornery, and Urchin. We'll wheel one of them, and we're going to take the Watcher heal here. Here's a 2-drop we can get behind. Whisper Agent's nice, so's Passwall, but this is perfect. Gold uncommon in our colors. Yay, question mark? Is it even that much better than Capture Sphere? I'm way down on Capture Sphere in this format because it has no synergies with anything blue is doing. But I'm taking the 2-drop just on the strength of it being a playable bear. Yeah, you can get something going with this sometimes, but it's not an important card in the format, really. We can take a Locksmith. This is a really weak 2. Dawn of Hope is a powerful rare that could make somebody happy. This is a place, if you're not gem independent, this is absolutely a gem pick. In fact, I might make a gem pick anyway, just out of principle. But Rubble Belt Boar is fine. I would like Rubble Belt more than Krabby here. If we're going to take a 4-drop that we actually want to play, this is it ends up being a little more punch through damage aggro, and so I would take the Rubble Belt. In fact, I will. But that's a fine place to rare draft if you're thinking about that kind of thing. If you're wondering. Here we're going to take Bodyguard. Sure Strike is a fine playable Jinx and is a playable combat trick, but Bodyguard is one of the premium commons in red. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody wanting to take a combat trick over Bodyguard? I think you're just not doing that right. This is a clear Bodyguard pick for me. This is less clear. I think we could take some fixing here over another Boar, random 3, Notion Rain on the splash. But I think with Crackling Drake and Expansion and all this, let's just take a Gate. Nice. So we are kind of in the right place, and we have to decide which is the better 2-drop creature for us, the Ornery Goblin or the Electromancer. I know it might seem obvious to take Electromancer, but Goblin is a really great aggressive creature, and Electromancer, if you're not doing a bunch of stuff, isn't amazing, but it does make like expansion cheaper, so we'll take it. And we'll hope not to play this Halberdier. And look, I was talking about one of the, we had 3, wow, this is the wrong creature to wheel. Like well, I guess Urchin was in the pack. There was some, yeah, Urchin. Anyway, happy to get an Ornery Goblin here. Wouldn't mind 1 Pass Wall at some point, or a Dazzling Lights at some point, but this is an easy Goblin. I'm not taking combat tricks over solid, over what I consider to be the better 2-drops. Like this is the good 2-drop. If this were the dumb wall, you know, defender, there's one 2-drop that's about defenders or something that I don't care about. But if it's Ornery Goblin is great. Like, turns out you wouldn't think it looking at a 2/1, but it turns out that nothing in the set can block Ornery Goblin. Like nothing. It's like, it actually just says unblockable. It's weird. I might be exaggerating slightly, but it's harder to block than you think. So Mnemonic Betrayal is not particularly playable in the format, but it's a mythic. So if you're collection building, like we have 2 of 4 Mnemonic Betrayals, we could build our collection by taking that. This is not the uncommon blue card I want to see. I'd rather have the card draw, but we can take Sabotage. Radiantware wants the Guild Gate. That's kind of number 2 for me. Also, well, Dimir Informant also good. Pass Wall and Dimir Informant. But having a counterspell is fine. Well, I think I cut the wrong one of these. We have an Izzet Locket that we might play. Izzet Locket makes some sense with the expansion explosion. So I'll leave it there for now, but we'll see. I think that counterspell is good here, though. Thought Erasure, we know it was taken out of this pack. Somebody's got the Dimir deck upstream. We don't have much in the way of a pick here, so we get our Pass Wall that, or you know, we can take the Revival. This honestly is probably where I should collection build. I would play one of these, but I'm going to demonstrate when to rare draft. Like, this is such a garbage pack for us that let's take progress towards completing our set. Radical Idea, not completely unplayable, but not a priority for me at all, even in this type of deck. Although Radical Idea with the double Electromancer means it's likely to be single blue at some point in the game, and that makes it far more appealing. So there's that. And then Locksmith is what I was talking about as the 2/1 Goblin for 2 that I don't want. Like, this is so much worse than Ornery. Hey, Surreal. I don't think I was ever clean-shaven when I was streaming, but more shaven than this for sure. Enhanced Surveillance is fine in a sideboard situation, but it's not a good card for a main deck here. Chamber Sentry number 2. Ornery Goblin number 5. Not 5. A lot of good stuff here. But I think, I mean, we're talking about taking these because they're 2s. This is a 2. This is a 2 that can become removal. So I think we should just take Sentry. Land is appealing as well. Well, Electromancer is sweet. I'm going to take Sentry and wheel that Goblin. Yes, we'll be very careful with our Sentry. Probably want this, I like the Disdainful Stroke, but Guildgate. I think we wheel the Sure Strike, though, too. We might wheel the Guildgate. I'm taking a Gate now, and I'm going to risk wheeling or finding another Sure Strike. Street Riot's not very good. Mesmerist better than it looks in this type of deck. We'll take it. Maybe. Maybe Gates wheel, and I will wish I had that strike, but I didn't. Another Locket. I don't think we're ever going to play 2 Lockets. I don't think we're playing Maximum Altitude, though. Yeah, I would play an off-color Gate with the Sentries, I suppose, but they're fine as 2/2 bears that do that thing. Okay, here is another Mesmerist, and then now we're about to start getting our wheel. I mean, here we take a Guildgate. on that thing, but I'd rather have Mesmerist. We'll just be 2-color, that's fine. Here's that pass wall we can consider, but maybe not even play. Lock it to not play. Looks like we're not going to wheel that Sure Strike. That's too bad. I felt like red was wide open and then it wasn't. I don't know. I still like having that fixing, though. Gosh, we did wheel a gate, you're right, Haj, but we also wheeled an Ornery Goblin, which I'm happy to pick up, too. I don't think we want a third gate over Premium 2. I'm going to take another Premium 2. Maybe we play this thing. Feels like the person to our right is Dimir with the disinformation campaign missing from the second pack, right? Or maybe I'm misremembering that. All right. 40 on the grind. I'm going to fill out my spreadsheet here for a second. Not a lot of room to cut. I don't think we need to splash the takedown, although we don't have a ton of removal. Maybe we need the takedown just because it represents removal. That's what we're really missing from here. But we didn't end up with a gate to... Now we can't really splash it. We have no tools to splash this. And we don't really have the tools to cut that many Jinx. We gotta cut the takedown and not play black. And then we're looking at one cut from here. And it is probably one of the twos, and it is probably a Mesmerist over any of the other ones. Although Beam Splitter, what is this doing? Is this just a hard... I guess it has extra toughness. But since we didn't come up with a combat trick, it's not really doing anything unless we play the altitude. Yeah, I don't know if we play gates just for the sentry. Yeah, you're right. Mesmerists do work better in multiples. When you can attack with both, it can turn off an entire creature by comboing. So then maybe it's this, and maybe we even just skip the locket. Like, we're not really trying to do that. Yeah, or even the cover up. Although I kind of like protecting our early aggro. Yeah, Maximize works with Beam Splitter, but again, I don't like worrying about making the Beam Splitter have something to do. It's almost just cuttable as a generic bear. And yeah, we could also cut land. We could do 16, but we do have Watcher and we do have some card draw and an X spell. So but I also do like the point that because we don't have a lot of interaction, we need to be tempo aggro. We need to be pushing. So yeah, maybe cover up can go. We keep a sabotage, but ditch the cover up and be more proactive. I said we might want to play one of these. I mean, we can consider it, but it does help us finish out a game that we're having trouble getting the last bit of damage in. But it feels like almost like if we're playing altitude, we don't need pass wall. Like, these are doing the same job in a sense. And yeah, I guess we can do a Miser's Boros Gate for the Sentry, but I wouldn't want any more than one anyway. I mean, the other thing you do is play an off-color Locket that you know you can at least cast, but yes, they do a similar job. They have the same job, but they do it differently. They do the same... They produce the same result with a different effect. You want more action for spells matter. Yeah, well, so you want cover up back so that it can be cheap with Electromancers? I don't know if it even matters. I think these are just, they're bears that might make something cheap, whatever. I just don't like anything else enough to bother about. Let's give this a start here. Let's try this and see how it goes. We are Guilds of I'm trying to think of a name. We're back to Guilds of Ravnica. Back for more. Back for. I'm not doing is it jokes. We are like making is it question mark puns is the that's what she said of magic jokes. I'll do this though. We can do this. Here's how we can. No, it's not. There you go. That's as close as I'm going to get to an is it pun for you. GYZ, do I mean totally hilarious? I mean totally hilarious for about a week, then increasingly diminishing returns, and then now you're just being not creative and unfunny. 8, 9, 10 blue, 6, 7, 8, 9 red. That seems right. This is Izzity. We can pick these sleeves as Izzity looking sleeves. Anybody actually redeem anything? Let's see if anybody actually redeemed anything. Nope. Chamber sentry there. All right. I'm gonna do different lands though. Go away, Bob. Little par poll for you. All right, that's a start. Need a little more land, but there we go. Now we got our little more land. So on the road here. Electromancer. It's kind of a lightning rod. Might pull some removal. Dimir is our opponent. Ooh, cool. We got our mountain to get our turn 4 crackling drake. That's nice. We're gonna go. I like Goblin Altitude Electromancer. This is where I don't love Electromancer, but also it does get something in the yard for the Drake. You know, what else are we doing with it if not getting damage in? Yeah, Locksmith actually does something here. Funny. That's true. Island keep up counter, but I'm going to curve out. I like, with this type of hand, curving out through 4 and then protecting what we've got with the sabotage after that. We'll get something good with that sabotage, if not their next handful of plays. No attacks until we get the Mesmerist going, but I'm going to go Drake first. Cannot lie, Oppo likes the big butts. Hopefully our Drake lives, but I'm not expecting it to. If it does, that's a good win. It's a good plan. Well, if Errata, the silencer, swings in, likely to lose our Drake. But we do shuffle it into library. Yeah, we are going to keep up sabotage. Just trying to figure out if there's anything to be done about Errata taking our Drake. Doesn't look like it. So we will go Smelt Ward. But I'm going to attack first. Math likes the Mesmerist. You like the Mesmerist because it can support attacks by reducing Crab's power. Yeah, that's true. All right, let's. Yeah, I like Math's point. Could also have made the play of just playing both, play the Minotaur too, and set up, if it's such a good attack, let's go ahead and set it up for everything here. I've never seen anybody win a limited game off of the Atrata rules text. Well, they're drawing cards. That's could be worse for us, but it does make me wish we just played the Minotaur and had a really great attack set up for this coming turn. Still do if they don't play any power to the board. It's not a great attack, but it is an attack. Spybug is not the type of power I'm talking about, so we'll still attack into that. Dragonauts is nice. We can go Dragonauts. But then we can't do Dragonauts, Altitude, and Sabotage. But we could go Minotaur, Altitude, Sabotage. But then we also have to pitch a land. We got to wait on Altitude, basically. So I'm going to start with an attack, shrinking the crab and offering up anything. Don't think Bug is blocking. If Bug is blocking, cha-ching, I'll take it. Happy, happy. So, suggestive our choices are 2/3 drops or hold the Sabotage again. They just drew cards. I really think I should hold the Sabotage this time. Feels like I should. All right, looks like we could have gotten away with it there. We have the Beam Splitter max altitude, but we're gonna start with just a, let's see, well, we can do the same attack with the Sinister Sabotage set to counter something they might do. Now, Spybug, yeah, if we counter Surveil, Spybug doesn't get bigger. So let's just send in and do the same attack with the Sabotage ready to help bail us out if they've got something sneaky. Yeah, happy to take that trade still. The Bug is scary in a Dimir deck for sure. We get... If we do Smelt Ward and Beam Splitter, we don't have Sabotage up. I really want to hold the Sabotage up. But I think we go Beam Splitter in... maybe I just go for it here. What are they up to? Because if we go Smelt Ward, Beam Splitter, and they don't do something amazing, our next turn on Maximize Altitude is great. So, I think... Yeah, no need to risk it, but we're not that far ahead such that if we can get wide here, it may prevent any normal stabilization play from working. I mean, I don't know if you can call this a punt math. I'm pretty wide open to considering what a punt might be, but we are sitting here debating a lot of possible lines. You're gonna have to, if you can convince me that it is objectively clear that playing the Minotaur is wrong, I will. I'll give you that punt. Otherwise, so now my real question is whether I want to risk it or keep up the sabotage. I'm not sure. I really like getting a better attack out there. All right, I'll keep up sabotage, but I'm not sure about this keep up. See, like Darkblade, do I even care? 2-3. I feel like I'm supposed to counter just about everything. Yeah, they are kind of showing cover up. I think we just say this is okay. This doesn't stop my plan enough. We want something that stops the long-term We Dragonauts plan, or we would spend sabotage on something that stops our plan A right now, which is We Dragonauts chipping in forever. Hey, that's cool. Radical idea for the cheap. Let's start there. Whenever you cast an injury, target creature can't block this turn, so we'll say can't block. Chamber Sentry for 2. Beam Splitter. Yeah, we can just leave that available, right? And we can send. We could maximum out. We could max altitude. We have to pitch one of these. I like our whole hand now. Boy, this is proving to be a more complicated game than I thought. Yeah, we need the double blue, right? So, well, let's send these, and we'll save the altitude beam splitter plan for upcoming. Of course, we can't go beam splitter and hold up sabotage, so we're again in a spot where if we want to hold up sabotage, we kind of undo the rest of the turn. It makes me want to just go shields down on sabotage for a turn and go chamber beam splitter. What does attacking with the ground creatures accomplish? Well, this one can't block. I guess this is what it did accomplish. We offered it and Oppo took it. Yeah, I don't like Media, you're totally right. Like, I don't know, Media's comment is like the reason not to have made that attack, and then it accidentally worked because Silver plays, I guess. Yeah, we can't just keep holding the counter spell. Yeah, I just love casting stuff, but you're probably right. I'm going to be super conservative here. This is an extremely conservative play to avoid the double spell to hold up sabotage. Here, though, we do have a spot where I think they have a devious cover-up that's going to go into use here. But I believe that with the Smelt Ward, we should be fine even if our sabotage gets countered. Now, it's not... I feel like we should counter this. Yeah. I'm going to keep our air clear or make him use their counter now. Do we want blue? Kind of just want land, really. Although we want it to pitch as much as anything. Whatever. Island is fine here. Anything is fine here because I kind of want to pitch to these. I mean, if we're talking about pitching, though, then it doesn't matter. If you're saying keep the island to pitch it, what does that even mean? Land for pitching. Magic card for pitching. Yeah, we can triple spell. We could just dump this hand now, right? And then have this next turn. Yeah, we can do that too. Radical idea, draw a card, maximize altitude. Let's start there. And we already did the crab, right? So we do this here. There we go. That works. Winning target game. When it turns out your opponent has nothing, makes it a lot easier. Yeah, they drew a lot of cards, but as is the case sometimes in Magic, only 2 of the cards matter, right? The only thing that mattered there was my Dragonauts and Oppo's inability to block it, right? So here's your million cards. None of them stop this random flyer. I might miss the Marsh handoff today. Maybe not, though. Actually, could work out good. I have a hard stop a little before 1. I need to be off air by about 12:45 Seattle time today. Should be enough time to hand off to Marshall, but it'll be close. All right, looks good. Opening on 2 Mesmerists on the play means that Oppo should have some trouble blocking here unless they come up with some early plays of their own. Nice. Got our 4 mana curve out to Crackling Drake. That means, again, I'm going to go ahead and use Altitude for damage here. And I am going to play a Mesmerist. Attacking with 2 Mesmerists means that Oppo really is not going to have power to block with next turn. I don't think we can be punished for 2 mana for going for this, so I am going to go for it. There you go. That's what we're talking about. Could even go Radical Idea, Ornery Goblin here over Crackling Drake. Crackling Drake is going to hit for 1, 2 after we Radical Idea, but Goblin is going to hit for 2 already. Let's, I like Radical Idea Goblin. Goblin will die. Why will the Goblin die? You got to read the Goblin. That's why I want to play it. And also, we don't mind trading for an assassin. I told you. This card can't be blocked or can't block, can't be blocked, you can't mess with this goblin is what I'm saying. No, but it's kind of like how, you know, members of a community can retake words that are used as derogatory against that community, right? So I'm just, I'm allowed to. I don't think Oppo read. Exactly. And here's where I was talking about the double mesmerist and who, I can't remember who said put that third mesmerist back in, they work better in multiples, but here's exactly what we're talking about. We got a lot of unassuming cards in this deck. Vidalcan Mesmerist and Ornery Goblin are the most unassuming looking little 2-drop 2/1s that you could, and then they get into play together and you're like, holy cow. Doesn't even want to block, afraid we're going to pump and kill. Mesmerist definitely worse than Goblin, but my point is that even Mesmerist tends to overperform in the aggro decks, especially in multiples. Our Drake matches up well in the air. Picking up a mountain here makes me want to use this for fuel for these. I like assaulting maybe the Ceratok and then swinging into the bats. Yeah, we could just bore for now too. I like the Sonic Assault though. Yeah, assault win is. How about win target game? Yeah, I'm in the win target game camp. Yep. That's what Is It Tempo is capable of. Math is like, please, Hammer, don't hurt him. Single assault was already GG. Stop hitting him. Best 2-drop Goblin, that's the question. Best common 2-drop Goblin. I'd have to go actually, like, look them up. Tempo is a hard to pin down term in Magic, but largely it means the act of coming out ahead on mana without actually coming ahead, coming out ahead on board control without actually necessarily coming ahead on cards. Like, so for example, if I play a 2/2 for 2 and you play a 2/2 for 2, and I untap and I spend 1 mana and a card to return your 2/2 to your hand, and then I get in for an attack. We call that a tempo play because it's a tempo play because I have removed your creature, and that's allowed me to attack, but I haven't removed your card. You still have that card, and you get to replay it. So that's kind of the fundamental tempo idea. It's like on board advantages that disregard exactly who has the most cards at the end. But I'm going to go Goblin here in case we find ourselves a Boros land, but also maybe I should play Sentry because then we threaten to activate it and ping, but that threat of activation on the Sentry is better when we actually have mana. We don't have much mana right now. So now I'll go Sentry because we could remove a 1/1 counter to ping something and play a Goblin or another Sentry. Interesting. They played into our Sentry. I'll go ahead and take that. I don't want him to pilfer. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pick off the Imp. East says, wait! Too late. Well, let's see. I guess they get something from our hand. The good news is we have a Crackling Drake and a Watcher. And we traded a Sentry, 1 counter off of Sentry for their status statue, so I don't hate that. I'm going to play the Ornery Goblin, because I actually don't care too much about the other Sentry. Maybe they'll take it, although I guess it's better than a Goblin. Yeah, I'll play it, whatever. Like Goblin, Sentry, they're similar plays, right? But technically, this could have us combine to deal 3 damage to something. Yeah, Goblin plus Sentry is good, of course, because you get to threaten to add on to your ping there. But they give us a chance here. We're gonna, let's see. How greedy are we? We could Crackling Drake, try to find a land and kill the pilfering with that. But I'm not going to be too greedy. I'm just going to... I'm actually going to use up this Sentry and keep a 2/2 around. And then we'll drop the Ornery Goblin for next turn. You think this is a Sultai card? Certainly a reasonable thing to do in a green deck. Just because the successful green decks are often playing a ton of gates and doing a lot of multicolor stuff. Now, we did have a mountain on top, so if we'd gone greed, it would have worked, but it's okay. We're in a fine spot here. I'm going to send in both creatures and then drop a Watcher, though. If they take... They're not taken. Fine. I was gonna say though, I want more land because I want to explode. So we're gonna, if there's land on top, we're gonna keep it. If there are spells on top, we'll see how good they are. Altitude we should just put in the graveyard because it's got jumpstart, so it's like an extra option in the graveyard. And I will keep this guild gate though, and next turn we'll go Crackling Drake or Boar and work towards a big explosion. They got a Watcher 2. We've got an Expansion Explosion, though. So now I think if we... I'll send in the Watcher, and if they block, I'm going to go ahead and finish off their Watcher. It's not the max value or anything. Well, actually, we can just go Rubble Belt Boar this turn, though, right? Let's do that. We can really put it either place. I guess putting it here gets through 5, putting it here gets through 3, or it gets through 4, so we'll put it here. Yeah, blocking. Well, you don't care about blocking that much, do we? Might even be able to, like, copy an altitude and win off of, you know, some crazy... Hey, friend! Oh, no, though.
Some say I never heard of ya, a rap burglar.
Well, we're going to discard the Drake. Explosion's still better. Yeah, it sucks to lose the altitude, but it's not that bad. And we pick another land here so we can explode for 3. Whenever you surveil, pay 3. Well, we can send in Ornery and Watcher and leave the other one back on D and have big instant at the ready. Could also leave Ornery Goblin back to threaten the operative. If we send in Watcher and they block, we're kind of priced into using Explosion on the Watcher. I'm not going to use this mid-combat, was my thinking. So... And if we use the... Yeah, because then we could Goblin... Then we could attack with the Goblin. I see what you're saying. Yeah, but I like keeping this back to prevent lifelink anyway. So I'm just going to send in Watcher and be willing to use Explosion post-combat. Any target. I mean, we could even go to face, but now let's just go... Let's kill the Watcher and draw some cards. Oppo getting some life back there, but we can overcome that. We do have... We have, like, looting. Why did I keep land before? But let's see, nothing here matters pre-combat, so I'm going to start with the Watcher attack. And then, yeah, let's dump hand. We may be in a spot where we can attack all and get around. Jumpstart, thank you, of course. It's like, I felt like there was some reason, but I couldn't think of, like, what looter I had. It's like, I don't have a looter, but I have Jumpstart. Thank you. Insight strong, but they're at least spending turn cycles drawing cards when we have a board advantage. All right, now if we send in everything, they effectively get 8, 9, they're effectively at 11, 10, 9, 8. They eat something here. They eat the 3/3. They trade off with something that gets the life, and then they trade off here. Or we shrink that, and they chump. Yeah, I had to go through the whole attack process if we attack with everything, but it doesn't look good for us if we attack with everything, so we're just going to send the Watcher still. Yeah, we can send Gobbo attacks, but then let's say we send in the Goblins. They trade for one and eat the other. That doesn't seem... Oh, no, they don't... They eat one and chump the other? I think we save that. I think that's probably okay for next turn when we have another Electromancer out. Or that's painful. That's painful. They got a lot of fuel now. They got a locket they can crack at 19 to 18. We're still ahead on library, too. Yeah, Sonic Assault would be good. We have ways to close out from here, just not in hand. Another Watcher is great, though. Let's cast that happily. Hopefully they don't have a counter. But we gotta try casting our spells. Boo Ernst. That explains the weirdness. I don't think we were going to not cast that, though, even identifying the weirdness. Like, we still got to play our game, although we're running out of great options to win here. And we're falling behind on cards. 16 to 17 now. Decking-wise. There's the Sonic Assault we've been waiting for. Is that going to be enough? I think so. If it resolves. Uh-oh, they're looking. This is a cover-up. Yeah, we can still do it, but I think it's cover-up, so they actually get to exile it. Ugh, that is harsh. That's why I like Dimir, though. I don't love the green here, but I love the Dimir Oppo's doing. I have splashed green plenty, just not usually for foragers, you know? And also with this many actual forests. I like splashing green off your gates. I don't think I've had a Dimir deck I was happy with that ran 2 full forests. Yeah, this is not where we were supposed to have won by now, and really Oppo has dismantled our best ways to do that. I don't know how we win. I could almost scoop this up. Like, our ways to win were 1 Crackling Drake, 2 Watchers in the Mist, and the Sonic Assault. And the Expansion Explosion, and Oppo has literally dismantled 100% of those outs. Dragonauts is no longer an out with Predator, though. So, I'm going to move on. I know that there is... you could call that scooping early, but I call that looking at my deck and realizing that there are no outs. I don't have outs. I looked at my cards. I imagined drawing all of them, and none of them worked. So the only out we had there is that Oppo draws nothing but lands coming up, and we draw nothing but creatures coming up, and we just get so wide on creatures that we manage to attack over them for lethal. And while that's certainly one of the ways in which we could have come back and won that game, not worth hanging around to do that, I don't think. It's just super unlikely and not super interesting television. Records on the bottom, Johnny. There's a info bar that is correct. It's not always correct, but it is correct right now. No problem, no problem. This is not a reading stream, so low expectations on that front. We're going to we have a Chamber Sentry into Minotaur into Rubble Belt, and we even get a gate for turn 1. Cool. Now, do we care about this sentry? Of course, Oppo on full Tron. Natural turn 3 Tron. Well done. Do we care about this block, or are we just going to race? I kind of like race. I'm going to say I'm racing. Show me how you're going to win the race. That's a little scary, I got to admit. But I'm still going to send our sentry in, let them trade if they want. Smelt Ward technically blocks these two. If they swing in again, we know they've got some combat trick. Do we want to trade here? Probably not. Anything we can do about Aurelia? At this point, we probably just lose to Aurelia. One of the problems our deck, we identified with our deck from the outset, was we don't really have much interaction at all. So we're trying to win through early creature aggression, and when that doesn't work, we are in trouble. And when we face high toughness bombs, we are also in trouble. So Aurelia is a real problem, Aurelia problem. Maybe we do trade off here. That just seems wrong, though. I'm gonna say no blocks. Crackling Drake, not the worst, but it doesn't do much for us right now. I'm gonna Rubble Belt the Smelt Ward. That doesn't do much either, though. So I guess actually we're on Crackling Drake, because what does Rubble Belt enable? Like basically nothing? At least this has 4 toughness. But Aurelia and nothing to do about it kind of spells close to doom. I'm not going to scoop this one up right away. Scooped up the last game earlier than I would at a Pro Tour, but in this case, we're certainly not at scoop levels, but we are. What percent do you think we are to win this game from here? Is it under 5%? Little says 0. I feel like it can't be 0 because we do have. Didn't we get a? I thought we had one. Oh, maybe we didn't even get that one. God, it's close to 0 because I mean, I don't know how we kill it. Like we don't have anything to kill it. It might be 0. Yeah, you might be right. Maybe this is a scoop situation. Yeah, Explosion. I guess you're right. There we go. Explosion is our out. And so, but we need to get 5, which means Explosion for 9 mana, and that's just too much mana. So the out we have is too expensive. Now... Probably need to try and trade for this Electromancer now. I don't think it's going to work, but we already think we're 0%ers anyway. this altitude help here, because we can get Rubble Belt altitude. Yeah! Yeah! Block with Aurelia. Block. Block. No, we want Aurelia to block. Darn it! Failed to trick him into trading with Aurelia. I know it's never going to happen. We are so dead. All right, now I'm going to scoop. Of course, 3-color Oppo with the Tron on 3, playing bombs on 4, splashed bombs. Gotta love the Goblin Electromancer on 2, Aurelia on 4, all basics loss. Oh, come on, math. You only like it because you saw Oppo go 1, 2, 3 on Jeskai mana. Jeskai Tron on 3 can sure help you like a Jeskai deck. I'd like to see if you actually like their deck looking at it as constructed on screen. You give me that curve out with the Jeskai deck, I'm in. All right, we're 2-2. I can't remember what chat thought of this deck from a par poll standpoint. I think it's better than 2 wins, though. Let's get more than 2. I want to see the splash mana. Do you like splashing Aurelia there on, say, 3 planes? Is it splash Aurelia off 3 planes? Would you be in for that? I'm going to keep this. Looks good. I don't think I would. I'm so... Naked splashes off of that kind of mana. I mean, it somewhat depends on what else is in their deck, but they showed us, like, double blue for counters, right? I mean, yeah, if you've got the gates, I'm in for it, but that's what I mean. You're going 7-7-3 in Guilds of Ravnica in order to, let's say, no gates. You're going 7-7-3 or 7-7-4 in this format? I don't think so. Not saying Oppo was, just talking about where our personal line is for when we're happy to splash. Electromancer cheapens things, but I'm going to go with Ornery Goblin as my first play here. Mesmerist Goblin, it's tough to say, but Goblin just attacks through so much on turn 3. Now I like Electromancer. If we draw an island next turn, we could do something like Mesmerist, hold up Sabotage next turn. So I'm going to do that after I attack. I guess I could have used the altitude. I've been using the altitude when I have the mana to do so and didn't there for no particular reason. Although I don't like doing it into open red mana. I didn't actually talk about it and think about it. Should have. At least we agree that 7-7-3 is not acceptable. We are on the same page there. Okay, well, we found a Beam Splitter Mage. That's going to let us... oh, no, it won't. We can't double spell unless we do Mesmerist, but I think it's worth double spelling. We could also do... yeah, can't hold up Sabotage unless it's the only thing we do, and we have to double spell, especially in the face of a Wall of Mist. So I'm going to cast 2 creatures and attack after... Or attack and then cast 2 creatures. We have Beam Splitter for altitude too, so I kind of forgot to cast my altitude, but now it's going to work out for us in that sense. We could hold the land for altitude pitching, but we also have stuff to ramp to, or not ramp, but, you know, we have 5+ drops. But I think altitude here, maybe it's not the time for altitude. We use altitude when they have better blockers, and we'll just hold up sabotage. Yeah, I'm going to hold the mountain because we don't need more red. We need more blue. Yeah, so Fenor points out that we could get 10 in, but my point is that if we get 10 in, we can't hold up sabotage at that point. We've used our blue. And we also get 6 in without even spending anything. So I don't see why we should spend a card and eliminate our ability to cast sabotage for +4 damage when that very same advantage that altitude gives us could give us that advantage next turn when they deploy another creature to block with. I think you're right. Without sabotage, though, we just go for piling on damage. But now we have sabotage, and it's going to be meaningful because we're going to save our Electromancer, and that should give us a win next turn. I say should. They've still got tools. That helps. Let's see. Are they now? They're not dead, but we're still in a good spot. And I'm gonna go. I'm gonna use this now, though. Get in damage while we can. Basically just using max altitude for an extra 2 points of damage here. Although, again, I could wait. That's getting in no matter what. It's just that if I'm trying to use my mana while I have nothing else to do with it is another thing that's going on here. It's just if I cast this, it's only an extra point. Like, we get 5 in no matter what. If I do this, we get 6. Yeah. That's kind of the waiting on altitude till they have blocks was the point of not doing it before, and could have been worth doing it here. I guess I'll not compound that, and we'll just attack for 5 here, and to an extent threaten lethal next turn. Yeah, we'll play an island. We have 5 drops. Radical Idea is a great thing to see first. Gravitic Punch does nothing. So they need another creature here, or else it's GG. Yeah, Fëanor, I regretted doing the first half, but I'd already done it, right? So, but better not. I'm not going to follow it up by using the second half unnecessarily either. That's not good for them. Dragonauts, good for us. All right. But basically them not having anything was what we needed to secure that. All right, we're guaranteed 50-50 with this deck. That makes me feel a little better. I think it's even better than 50-50, but at least we got an even split today. Looks good again. Lot to do early, at least. All right, which 2-drop to start with against Swamp? Sentry gives us some play towards killing something at 1 toughness. I think we go Sentry. Yeah, it's a guaranteed swing, but like Sentry is also like guaranteed kill something. Might affect how Oppo plays. What I like about Sentry is that if we draw a land, we could ping a 1 toughness and deploy one of our other 2-drops. Probably not Fenor, but if we found a 3rd land and had nothing else to do, ... That's what I was thinking about. But also there's something to be said for letting them play 1 toughness onto the board before we get our Sentry going. Yeah, that's what Fenor is saying there. So let's do that, and we'll go Electromancer in case we draw the Jumpstart draw card, because then we can do that for 1 instead of 2. Yeah, well, I don't care what goblin you meant. I have my reasons for this goblin. Oh, no!
Some say I never heard of ya, a rap burglar.
Yeah, we'll discard the altitude. Seems like a good job for that card. Leaves us with nothing to cast here, but that's okay. Looks like, we could have gone Ornery Goblin max altitude, but I like our spot. This is fine. SL Kirstens, thank you for that. Glad you liked the episode. Is that why you're here? Did you find me from that? Always interested how people make their way to my little stream. Canadian Genius is digging the format right on. Pretty good use of Burglar Rat is moving into the Plague Crafter. We're gonna ditch, well, what do we want to ditch? Actually, I like ditching Electromancer here. Rat's a fine card, Jinx. You play Golgari and don't play Rat? It's a fine card. Another Gobbo. It's not a top card, Jinx, but it's a total it's a fine playable 2-drop. It's a fine playable. Nothing wrong with it. Super annoying. Has enough synergies with being sacrifice fodder and stuff that if you're getting anything synergistic going with it, I like it significantly more. Let's see. This card gains travel once each turn. So really, Trooper. I mean, we can attack in if they want to block. We're trading Goblin for a card in hand. Maybe that's not the best. We don't have anything to do but play the Mountain though for now. So Sentry. Yeah, just play Sentry for 2. Nothing else to do. And I don't like trading the Goblin for a random card in hand here. The quote help that you're worried about giving your opponents with burglar rat, though, it's not that big a deal. Whether you're, I mean, because I discarded a jumpstart card, I still had to discard a spell that I was able to cast out of my hand. I discarded a creature card, and I'm Golgari, and it technically helps me with graveyard stuff. I still had to discard a creature card. It's like, yes, there's some potential upside for opponents or some mitigation of the pain of the discard, but it's just mitigation. It's not eliminating the value of that discard. It's true. It also does force a creature discard. So maybe I should just send the goblin, because if they have to discard a creature, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's the other big combo. Strands, whatever strands. Well, but I think that's where I think you could use a mindset tweak there, Jinx, because you're saying there is just not enough upside for me being the Golgari deck. That's all. Really? In this deck that you don't even have yet? You don't have your deck yet. I'm just saying don't make decisions before you even have your deck. You may be putting yourself in a spot where, because you don't see the rat, I don't see the rat, it's not good enough for me. You're going to miss the spots where the rat does belong in your deck, because that's what happened that draft. In this draft, it belongs in your deck because, right? So just don't be so blinders on about stuff that you miss the opportunities where, I don't like this card in general, but today, with this deck, it belongs in this deck. And I think you're missing those spots, Jinx. We're going to say no blocks here, though. All right, we've got a Mesmerist. Still looking for another blue source to get either of our big flyers going. So I guess we're just on Mesmerist hold. At least we can fire off the Sentry for 2 damage. Actually, with that, this is not sorcery or anything, right? Yeah, so we'll see how on top of things our bronze Oppo is, because I'm just going to hang back. Actually, I'm going to send the Ornery, and I'll trade off for the Painter if they want. And last time Oppo swung in with the Trooper, threatening activation. What I'm going to do if Oppo sends in the Trooper again is block with the Mesmerist only. Or maybe block with both, whatever. I can block with both if they send in. But the point is, we have Sentry as a response in this case. So now we can double block, make them discard something, although I suppose we could get further flipped by some combat trick, but we'll accept that. We have a pretty good hand back if we can just find an island. So I'm going to do this. Make them pitch, and then in response to the pitch, kill with the Sentry. I assume they're going to pitch, but basically anything they do to save the Trooper, we respond with the Sentry. So snuck a 2-for-1 against a less experienced opponent there, and now almost, at 18 with premium removal like Deadly Visit, you should probably hold this. Anybody who would have done that kind of play that our Oppo did there. I mean, maybe if they have 2 more Deadly Visits, I am in total support of using that one, but assuming they're actually, that they have limited removal options, you really want to save those visits for a bigger threat than the Mesmerist. But all we got here is beam splitter. All right. Yeah, it's true. If there's a place to discuss rats, this is it.
Some say I never heard of ya, a rap burglar.
Everybody's being respectful and interesting. Nothing to apologize for in this discussion. I think it's a really interesting point. And the main thing to be careful of, that I try to be careful of in these discussions, is identifying that, the difference between adjusting, you come to the defense of a card and it can sound like you're saying it's an A. Nobody's saying that Burglar Rats is an A, but it's an interesting card to discuss to see where it's going to be good, why it's going to be good there, all that stuff. So darn it, we can't seem to find our second blue source to drop one of our actual good flyers. Looks like Pilfering Imp may get one of our flyers, but we're going to start with a Beam Splitter attack and drop a Mesmerist. If I had to grade Burglar Rat for the format in the abstract, I would give it like a C, C-. And then in certain decks where you're working the sacrifice synergies, it can get up to C+, B- level, but only if you're really working those synergies. Well, that's one of the reasons I liked it, Hat. We didn't really talk about that. Hat says if aggro was better in the format, it might do better work. And really, but that's what I don't understand. Boros is one of the top decks in the format, and blocking 1 toughness Boros stuff is a real job for the Rat. Aggro is only good in 1 color. Aggro is good in 1/3 of the format. 1/3 of the format. Now I'm exaggerating, of course. My joke there is that the format is it Dimir and Boros. We can't find our land, though, so here we are again, and now we're up against quite a beastie beast. In general, though, I will say that Burglar Rat's not good against Izzet aggro, because Izzet aggro's 1 toughness stuff tends to be Mesmerists and Ornery Goblins, neither of which can be blocked effectively by an early Burglar Rat. It's looking like we could end up losing this game. I'm disinclined to be salty here. Like, whatever. If we lose at this point, it's just because we got super unlucky with our mana, and that's Magic being Magic. We are doing what we can, though. Yeah, I'd double block too. Can we? Isn't this one? It can't. Yeah, it can't be blocked by more than 1 creature, though. That's the problem. Let me read that for you, Fenor. Starting in 2021, this is a reading stream. What's that? How did it work out? I haven't had any yet, but I'm going to have some later. My daughter made baklava for the first time in the middle of the night last night. She's like, midnight baklava. All right, let's see. Yeah, we can't block because we're just chumping. All right, well, we have a Goblin we can play, and we could Altitude. But we're right now in chump mode. I mean, like, I'm gonna have a good attitude about this. We're just getting worked over by the deck here. That happens. It's Magic. Like, we lost a couple of closer games, and then we're gonna lose a Magic says you don't get to play game, and that just happens. I think I'm gonna attack with my Beam Splitter though, and leave 2 blockers so that if they remove one, we can chump with the other. That's where I disagree strongly, Jinx. Jumpstart does not make you not care about discard. Discard still hurts you even if you're playing Jumpstart cards. It maybe makes your discard decisions easier, but it is still losing a spell. Well, I played around 1 removal. Oppo drew a second. Just kind of Magic being Magic here. I mean, come on. That is a matchup I would like back and would take any time. Our deck wasn't great, though. Our deck really needed to be on the front foot or it was in trouble, honestly. If we look at the problems with this deck, it had Expansion Explosion, full stop on the interaction. Like, we could sabotage something to counter it. We can Sonic Assault to get it out of the way for a turn. A tempo play, you might say, where you're using mana to affect the board for the short term without affecting card totals for the long term in your favor. Haj still says second Drake was better than Expansion Explosion. Disagree strongly. Would not trade this. You're saying right now you would swap this out of the deck for a second Crackling Drake? I feel like this was important. Maybe this is a little more on plan in terms of curve out, but this was nice having in the deck as a possibility. But certainly could have used a little more straightforward burn out a creature cheaply interaction. Yeah. No removal otherwise, although, I mean, I think Haj's point is that we had no removal even with this. That if you're counting your removal as your 6 mana shock, that you don't really have removal anyway. Is that fair, Haj? Kind of what you're saying? Like, this still really didn't give us removal, so might as well have an aggressive creature. Well, a second Drake gives us even likelier possibility of drawing, casting, and attacking with a Crackling Drake on time, which does fit our plan nicely. So, like I said, I thought it was maybe a little better than 3/3, but I generally think that about my decks because I have hubris that way. But more seriously, you know, I felt this deck was like a 6.5 out of 10. And so I still hope to win a little over half when that happens, but we'll take our 3 and not be too salty. Had some fun, got some gems, got some packs, and it was on the house. That's 1,000 free gems for us because we paid gold to enter. I'll get my record updated. Let's say goodbye to YouTube first so I don't have to leave them hanging. Thank you so much for coming back for drafting in 2021 and coming back for our old friend Guilds of Ravnica. I enjoyed playing that deck. I didn't get the exact results I wanted, but had fun touching base with an old familiar favorite ? Again, I always appreciated the gameplay of that format, even if the drafting portion wasn't the best. But I had fun. Magic's fun. Who knew? Even when you lose to worse decks because your deck doesn't want to give you a second blue source. That's not as fun, but Magic is still fun. Bye, YouTube. Thanks.